The Ministry of Home Affairs has issued revised guidelines for Lockdown 2.0. Highway dhabas and call centers for government activities shall remain open post April 20th. Manufacturing units of pharmaceuticals, medical devices, construction of medical infrastructure will also remain open. Hotels and homestays catering to those stranded due to the lockdown have also been exempted now. Services provided by individuals for IT repairs, motor mechanics, plumbers and carpenters will also be allowed to operate normally. All facilities in the supply chain of essential goods, whether involved in manufacturing, wholesale or retail of such goods through local stores or e-commerce companies will be allowed to operate, ensuring strict social distancing. Agricultural activities and supply chains of tea, coffee and rubber plantations will also resume. Movement of persons is allowed in case private vehicles are used for emergency services including medical and veterinary care and for procuring essential commodities, with restrictions on the number of people in the vehicles to 2 in 4 vehicles and 1 in 2-wheelers. Key guidelines have also been issued with regards to offices, factories and establishments which will be exempted from April 20th. Now, these establishments must use user-friendly disinfectants in premises including entry gates, cafeterias, conference rooms, lobbies, lifts, washrooms and also walls. Companies will need to provide transport facilities to workers. These vehicles will be allowed to carry only 30 to 40% of the passenger capacity, and these vehicles too will need to be disinfected completely. Mandatory thermal scanning of people entering and exiting workplaces is also required. Now, medical insurance for workers is also mandatory, and provision for sufficient quantities of hand wash and sanitizers is also a must. Gathering of more than 10 people will also be prohibited in these premises. Seating will need to be 6 feet away from the others. Now, there will also be a strict ban on chewing gutka and tobacco and also spitting. Workplaces must also have an hour gap between shifts to stagger lunch breaks. Now, there will also be a ban on non-essential visitors at these working sites.
Projects under Manrega will also be allowed to create job opportunities for rural labor and income for them as well. Manufacturing and other industrial establishments with access control will be allowed in SEZs, that's special economic zones, industrial estates and industrial townships. Coal, mineral and oil production will also be allowed. The government said that the digital economy is critical to the services sector and national growth. So, e-commerce, IT and IT-enabled services, data and call centers for government activities, as well as online teaching and distance learning are all permitted activities.
I start, of course, with domestic and international air travel, which is restricted till now and will continue to remain restricted till the 3rd of May, except for security purposes. Ditto for bus transport and all passenger transport by train. No interstate or inter-district movement of individuals. Remember, goods will be allowed post April 20th, but for individuals, that interstate movement remains prohibited. Educational training, coaching institutes shall remain closed. Industrial and commercial activities are all prohibited except for essential services and for those which will be permitted beyond April 20th. Of course, hospitality services will remain shut, and so will taxis, auto rickshaws, cycle rickshaws, cab aggregator services. All of that will not be allowed. Cinema halls, malls, shopping complexes, gyms, sports complexes, swimming pools, entertainment parks, theatres, bars, auditoriums, all these will continue to remain shut till the 3rd of May. Same for social, political, sports, entertainment, any academic or cultural or religious functions. In fact, religious congregations are strictly prohibited till the 3rd of May. And of course, in the case of funerals, not more than 20 people are, will be allowed to attend. You can have your funerals, but not more than 20 people will be allowed to attend, and they will obviously have to follow all social distancing norms. Free masks at all workplaces and public places. Health and hygiene measures such as sanitizers, opting for staggered shifts, imposing fines for spitting and all of that. These, guidelines, the national guidelines, need to be followed by all citizens, even for those people who will be allowed post April 20th to resume some part of their activities. And individuals violating these guidelines, these national guidelines, will face penal action.